Good morning, how are you? Shed office to head office, day 5. I actually seen that from an HSBC advert, shed office to head office, so I don't claim any creative responsibility for that. Yeah, I fell at the last hurdle, didn't I? My wife had put in my Outlook diary, not my office diary, put in my diary that I had to take her to the physio today at 8 o'clock. So, of course you're a priority, my darling. I think initially it was, I need to go into work. No, I didn't, so obviously that wasn't the right thing to say. The correct thing to say was, yes, of course you're my your health is my priority as well. So I reluctantly took her along here to where I am at the moment in physio, waiting for her. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. So what did I like and what did I not like, and what the world is all about? So meeting with people, suppliers, colleagues that I haven't met, even though I've worked with them for 2 years. Senior managers that one guy's like 6'7" or something like that. You don't actually notice that and then another guy is the opposite. He's this particular guy is a lot smaller, and some people's face shape are just totally different from what you actually see on Zoom. It's quite a bizarre experience, and but yeah, human contact. You don't really know a person until you're in that, face to face, and maybe have just a chit chat about anything, nonsense rather than work, and then you see the human side of someone, and actually probably get along a whole lot better, because you don't actually. And remember, I did something called Any Other Banter. I mean, that is one way of trying to get some humanity into a meeting, but mostly nobody has a conversation of any sort unless you're face to face. Sort of very, very light, and talk. Oh well, how's the football, or just it's not the same. But whereas when you're sitting opposite someone, oh hi, nice to meet you. What is it you do? Where are you from, and where do you live? Do you get all of those human things that we have? So I've managed to do that this week, and that's massively positive. Meeting people, suppliers as well, which you really get a chance to meet, and meeting with other industry people in the industry, like thinking about what their views are, and whether they're leaders or followers, kind of thing. So I mean, there is a lot of followers out there, and they look to larger companies like HSBC to help guide them, tell them what they're doing, because we're spending a lot of money at the forefront of a lot of change. So us communicating what we're doing is valuable to even there was somebody from the NHS the other day there, and if what I'm doing on a daily basis can help somebody in the NHS actually improve their environment, then yeah, I'm all for that. Actually, I want to help that. It's just like giving back to society, isn't it? So yeah, so there's a lot of benefit in communicating with other people outside of in the community, people that you've not met, people that there was a couple of project managers I'd seen about 2 years ago that I used to work in that department, and we were all kind of like at the same time looking at ending our contract and maybe coming back permanent, and it was good catching up with them, to find out, and they took me back to just the events on the days running up to leaving at the end of November 2019, and that was so strange, unraveling memories I'd forgotten about, just events, but yeah, and good catching up with where whether the same challenges or what is going on in their environments. So yeah, a lot of value. Yeah. Now, Zoom calls are not, to me, value sitting in the office with Zoom calls, and today is basically Zoom calls, a couple of Zoom calls, of which I'm in listen only mode, because one's run I don't have to contribute to, but others I do, and then I've got a report to do, which is me on my own and isolation focused, making sure I've got all the input. It takes me about an hour to put together, and so therefore, being in the office probably does matter. In fact, I realise there's a lot of things that are fallen by the wayside this week that I would normally be on top of, and therefore it's good to get back into working from home, so that I can make sure I've tidied up all those to-do items that I've been sort of negligent of this week. That they help to keep things moving along. So yeah, I think the balance probably is about 2 to 3 days, and I'm going to sneeze in a second, so I'm going to stop. Sorry about that. There's no way I was wanting to sneeze on camera, but I've obviously spoken so long that I'm not going to start again. I see the challenge from an employer perspective. They want to make sure people are engaged. They want to make sure people are productive, and that some managers have more trust than others in doing that. Others can't, and they need that control. They need to see people in front of them to say, oh yeah, they're definitely working. What are they doing anyway? Are they talking to each other? Some people can't let go, and that's a psychology thing. That's just, it doesn't make them bad managers, it just make them different managers. And there are a variety of different managers there. Some who allow that accountability and empower people, which is my preference. I like being empowered to do what I think is right for the organisation and what I think is right for achieving my objectives, and that freedom is valuable to me, because I want to give more, and I'm looking out for ways to give even more all the time. And once I've got this next big idea kicking off, and once I've done that, right, what's after that? And that excites me, and keeps me going, keeps me motivated, where I can actually add more value to. But some of it is creative, some of it is just organised, and some of it is connecting people. That's getting two people to talk to each other, because you see an impasse, you see I get a goal when that gets delivered. I get the gold star when that gets delivered, and I'm listening and resolving issues on a daily basis, and connecting people who don't know, get a bit lost in the organisation. That's the way to go. Speak to that person, they'll help you. I'll help you expedite that. I'll help you get that through. So all of that can be done on Zoom quite easily, in fact more effectively in some instances. But the human element of it needs a bit of working on it, and you can't get that just by working from home all the time. I don't know the answer. Lord Philip Hammond, the former Chancellor, was in a talk about the hybrid working and all that, and he's his view, and obviously he's a Conservative Lord, so he's got an agenda, but his view is that the economy can't cope much longer, perhaps as much as maybe a year. But before there's a correction, and people will have to go back into the office to get all the other facets of the economy going, like spending money and all that, which it has. My spending did increase this week, coffees and drinks after work and things like that, and but not significantly, not that bad. And I did use some ways of reducing my spending as well, so that it didn't go over the top. So back to that, I don't think on the whole it was very positive. Will I be going back in 3-5 days a week? I don't know. I've got next week. I've not got as many supplier meetings. I've not got many meetings that require that face to face. I think I've got some next week might be just working from home all week. I don't know, but it's been an experience. So hopefully you've enjoyed my week of bouncing back and forward, and hopefully I'll give you food for thought. Cheers.